Okay, we are back with the fourth and final NFL draft preview. We've done the South, the North, the East, and now it's the West. So we got the AFC West, the NFC West, a lot more, I guess, higher picks or later picks in round one. But I think it's actually going to be kind of exciting. I don't think this is necessarily a too chalky of a draft outside of the maybe top like first two or three picks. But we'll get right into it. We'll start it off in the AFC West, and let's go with, I guess, maybe the most exciting one, the Las Vegas Raiders. They are at 6, so they're behind. We were talking about the Giants I think the last episode we did, little Travis Hunter long shot, which I kind of like. The Patriots at 4, we said Will Johnson. The Jags at 5, I think we said Mason Graham. So the Raiders at 6 in the mock in the NFL draft. CBS Sports is has them taking Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. That's the one.
I mean, it's really obvious. It's going to be the most boring one we talk about today because I think most people say that, but there's a lot of smoke. I don't know if there's any fire, but there's a lot of smoke about the Jacksonville Jaguars really liking Ashton Jeanty. And so I guess the question is, what would the Raiders do if they can't take Jeanty? And for me, it's pretty simple. It's Membu from Missouri, the offensive tackle, because this draft for them is Jeanty or offensive line. It's just that simple.
Yeah, because I don't have the depth charts up, but I'll get it right now. Who do they have at running back? They had Madison and Zamir White last year.
And then Sincere McCormick came on strong, but yeah, they need a running back very badly. I don't think they signed anybody either.
Yeah, that's not great. Well, that makes sense with what you said if Jeanty's gone, because running back is plus 120 for the Raiders' first position. The next up on the odds board is offensive lineman plus 175. It's actually a lot of respect for offensive line, given that it's Jeanty or bust at the running back position in like the top 10. Yeah. So that leads me to believe that maybe there is a chance someone takes a stab at Jeanty.
It would have to be the Jaguars.
You're right, because could it be the Patriots?
I don't think that's a Patriots thing to do at all. I do not think Mike Vrabel's going there to take fucking a running back with the fourth pick.
Okay, I'm not going to push back on that. And then just to reference the depth chart for the Las Vegas Raiders, their running back right now actually, can you guess who they signed? They signed somebody.
Okay, give me a clue because I don't know.
He was in the AFC last year. He was in RB2, but a couple years ago he was in RB1 in a plug and play.
Raheem Mostert?
Yeah. Wow, great guess. So Sincere McCormick, they still have Zamir White, who is not good. Obviously, they signed Geno Smith. They have Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, somebody else I never heard of at wide receiver. They need an offensive line big time. Okay, yeah. So
they need a wide receiver too, to be clear.
Yeah. So what would we do with the Raiders? Nothing? Just leave it alone?
I think either there's something going on with the Jags and Jeanty, or plus money for the Raiders to go running back as a gift. One of the two.
So you could take the Raiders team to draft Ashton Jeanty, Raiders plus 105, Jags are plus 170, Bears plus 350.
Yeah, it's funny that they're plus 120 to draft a running back because we all know what running back they're taking.
Right. Okay. All right. Kind of maybe, I guess we'll just leave it alone. Let's go down to the Broncos, who are surprisingly picking 20th. Great year for the Broncos, who had a 5.5 win total. They are mocked to take Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. Actually, I'm not too much of a ball knower in this year's draft class, but I did get eyes on this guy. He's pretty good. I think so they are behind, let's see, they're behind the Bucks, who are not in the market for a running back. Bucks are probably going to go somewhere on the defense. I think we talked about them with the linebacker, safety, or something like that. And if you go to the draft board for the Denver Broncos, you're looking at running back minus 130.
Yeah, I lied. This is the other chalky pick. It's funny that they're both running backs. They seem to have their heart set on him. And honestly, with how good the defense is, with the fact that they kind of look like they hit on a first-round quarterback, which is crazy, they need a skill position player. And earlier when we were talking about this, I kind of thought they would go for a guy like Colston Loveland or one of these wide receivers, because, like, I don't know, what's wide receiver for the Broncos? Plus 400? Like,
yeah, but I bet you didn't know this because I didn't know this. They addressed their tight end needs. They signed Evan Ingram.
Yes, I did know that, and yeah, okay, that's fair. So that's why there's no shot for it. You're right.
Wide receiver is the second favorite at 4-1.
Because Devon Vile and I know Cortland Sutton, obviously. Who's the
Marvin
Troy
Mims,
Franklin?
Troy Franklin, Trent Sherfield. They signed. They need a running back. Jaleel McLaughlin,
Oh, they need a
Estime.
running back for sure. Javonte Williams is gone. They need a running back and a wide receiver. I think it's pretty clear they're taking Omari and Hampton, but if you were looking to have some fun, I would sprinkle the wide receiver. What'd you say it was? 4-1?
Yeah. And then after that, which I don't really hate, like just if someone were to be there because it's so deep, defensive line / edge is 5-1. They could use some more help on the D line. I mean, they had a pretty good defense, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think, yeah, that you're right. Two chalky ones right there. -130 for the Broncos. Probably leave it alone, or wide receiver 4-1 is not a bad look. 4-1. Okay. Next up is the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's see. They are picking 22. So you've got the Steelers at 21. After the Broncos, then you have the Chargers at 22. This mock draft has them taking Colston Loveland. That's interesting. Let's see what the odds board says. The odds board says defensive line / edge is +130 because Bosa's out of there. Tight end is +275. Wide receivers +425, and then offensive linemen 6-1. If you look at the Los Angeles Chargers depth chart, they signed Mike Williams back, or is this a different Mike Williams?
No, it's the same Mike Williams.
Oh my God. So they have Quentin Johnson, Lad McConkey, the tight end position. They've got Tyler Conklin, Will Dissly. Running back, they got Najee Harris. Obviously Herbert. They went with Joe Alt. I think it was last year, right? Yep. He's a great pick. They still got Rashawn Slater. So it looks like their offensive line is okay. Yeah, their defense could use some help. The defensive end, they got Deshaun Hand. But after that, they definitely need some help on defense. I wonder if there is,
because Joey Bosa went to the Bills.
Yeah, so that's probably not. I was going to say what other draft position could be something to consider here, but there's nothing. There's defensive line / edge is the favorite at +130. Then tight end, wide receiver, offensive line, running back, cornerback is 10-1. I don't think there's any reason to get involved with that. So this is probably pretty chalky too. Would you agree?
Not necessarily, because this team really needs a wide receiver. And so I strongly disagree with Colston Loveland. I do not think they're going to draft Colston Loveland. I understand they need a tight end. Will Dissly's not the answer, even though, honestly, I think you'd be surprised if you look up what Will Dissly did last year, but doesn't matter. He's not the answer. But if Emeka Egbuka and Colston Loveland are still on the board, which they very well might be, you're telling me that you think the Chargers would take Loveland over Egbuka? I don't. But James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, Michael Williams from Georgia, those guys are available for the Chargers. Tough guys to put that far down the board.
Yeah, this person in the mock did reference how Harbaugh would want to get one of his former Michigan players with Colston Loveland. Maybe that's a little bit of a connection. I don't really see it. I think Egbuka would make too much sense. And that's who they have the Packers taking at the pick after. So I'm with you. And
Harbaugh's a smart dude. He's not just fucking drafting a guy because he went to Michigan.
I agree. So wide receiver +425.
I actually like.
Yeah, I do too. Okay. Chiefs at 31. So they are picking, let's see, right after the Bills. They are mocked to take Josh Connerly Jr. He's an offensive tackle from Oregon. I see you shaking your head. Sounds like you agree with that. So the Chiefs are -140 to go lineman first pick. D-line edge is 2-1, then running back 9-1. So it's going to be offensive line or defensive line. Sounds like it's probably an offensive lineman.
Yeah, that guy you just said from Oregon, Simmons from Ohio State if he plummets, Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College, or James Pierce, like I mentioned. I think it's one of those four guys. I don't think there's any fun. I don't think when you're the Chiefs, the draft picks are all that fun, let's be honest. Xavier Worthy was about as fun as it got, and even he got in a little bit of trouble, but they just need to fucking get the trenches taken care of.
No, I was going to say it would be funny to see the Chiefs with Travis Kelce getting old and washed to maybe go tight end, but I don't think Loveland will fall that far.
Well, there's another guy, Mason Taylor from LSU, who people have as like the over 2.5 tight ends in the first round market is being fucked around with because they think he might be But I'm not picking him to go to the Chiefs. I want to be very clear about that, but he's worth mentioning.
Okay. By the way, 5th overall draft pick, Ginty is plus 120. Graham is plus 160. So as of right now, Ashton Ginty is favored to go 5th to the Jags.
Yeah, wow. That's really crazy. That's really crazy.
And then I just want to look at something real quick. Hold on. I found this to be drafted in the first round. You said Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
You can get him at plus 110 to be drafted in the first round.
I mean, bro, he's plummeted. He was plus 500 or something a couple weeks ago.
I watched a few LSU games. I kind of remember this guy.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Mason Taylor plus 110, tight end, round 1. All right, I just want to make a note of that. Cool. Okay, so Chargers plus 425, fun sprinkle. Chiefs chalk minus 130. Broncos probably minus 130 for a running back or wide receiver 4-1. Raiders, what did we say if Ginty was gone? We said they were
Ginty or O-line.
O-line, right. Okay. Yeah, not
And
really
I just want to say, should the Jags be drafting Ashton Ginty when they have ETN and Bigsby?
No.
It's weird.
Maybe they're going to trade. I don't know. Maybe they're, I mean,
yeah.
I'm totally with you. No, it makes no sense. Okay. Let's go to the NFC West. We got the Niners, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Ram. The Niners, hilariously, are the lowest pick in this, highest, however you want to say it, in this division. So they are picking 11, right outside of the top 10, right after the Bears. The Niners window is shutting. So I don't know what they're going to do. Let's see. The mock has them taking an edge rusher. That would make sense. Jalen Walker. I think that would be a really good fit for them. This would be Dre Greenlaw's replacement in Walker, versatile player who can help the defense in multiple ways. He's drawn comparisons to Kyle Van Noy. Okay, so we'll go to Bet Online, and let's see. San Francisco is going to be down here. Defensive lineman edge plus 130. It's amazing, dude. You go through all these teams, and that is like the most popular.
There's so many good ones.
So many. Yeah. And then our clip from the Travis Hunter Abdul Carter thing. Apparently the New York Giants set out the blueprint on stacking your defensive line to win Super Bowls. That's what the feedback is from that, which is very funny. So the Niners are plus 130. And then after that is offensive lineman plus 160. So that's pretty tight. Cornerback is plus 350. And then that's it. Those are the top 3 options according to Bet Online here. So do you have any thoughts on this?
I think they have to make a big splash with a guy who has potential to be a superstar. And for me, it's Jalen Walker or Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. I don't really understand the cornerback unless it's Will Johnson. I just didn't see him going that high or them wanting to take him that high with the fact that, yes, they need a cornerback, but you said the window's closing. The window's shut. Everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. And I got to be honest, I think Jalen Walker has better chance to make a massive impact over Will Johnson, who, don't get me wrong, I think will be really good. I think Jalen Walker's probably the right pick. I would go D-line edge over cornerback all day.
Okay. So they still have Fred Warner on the defense. They have they still have Nick Bosa. But their secondary isn't like that deep. Mustafa is a really good safety, but Renardo Green, Demondre Lenore, Jair Brown, like these aren't really household names in the secondary. So they're going to have to address that. And also on offense with Deebo Samuel being shipped out.
I have the perfect comparison from MLB to NFL for the San Francisco 49ers. They're the Houston Astros.
No, wow.
All their guys are gone, but you still think they're going to be good. The 49ers are going to be very bad this year.
But they didn't win a championship, right?
They didn't win a championship. That's true. But I think they're going to be 7-10, 6-11.
So what would we do with this, Steak? Are we getting involved or no?
Nah.
Okay.
It's not a fun one.
That's fine with me. So then after that, let's go to the Arizona Cardinals. Very interesting spot for Arizona. They're going to be picking right in the middle of the draft at 16. The mock here has them taking Jahdae Barron, who's a DB. Makes a lot of sense for the Cardinals, who were 24th in the NFL in interceptions last year. He had 5 interceptions, Barron did, and he would be a complement to Garrett Williams, the Cardinals' ascending slot corner. Okay, I have no beef with that. We know that they're committed to Kyler Murray, and they obviously drafted Harrison Jr. last year, and James Conner's a pretty nice running back, so defense would make sense. Also, Jonathan Gann's a defensive guy, plus 135 for D lineman or edge. Is what the odds market's saying. Offensive lineman's plus 250. You can never go wrong with that. And then cornerback plus 375. So if you're going based off the mock, that's what Jade Barron would be. But around him in this mock stake, you've got Donovan Ezeruku, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the edge from Boston College. You also have Derek Harmon from Oregon. And then further back, you've got Emin Wari, which I've seen kind of all over the place, the safety from South Carolina. So kind of feels like all those guys could be in play if they're around that number.
Doesn't a big guy in the middle make perfect sense for the Cardinals, like Derek Harmon or Walter Nolan?
Yes.
Like, do they have a guy that I'm missing
on the defensive line?
And specifically on the interior.
Interior, I'll go to the depth chart right now. Okay, so they signed Calais Campbell, but he's an edge. Dalvin Tomlinson, nose tackle from Cleveland.
Not horrible, but not anything special.
And then they have Darius Robinson and Baron Browning. I don't know who either of those guys are. They signed Akeem. I don't know who that is, from Cincinnati. Davis Gaither. Mac Wilson Sr., middle linebacker. Josh Sweat, they got from the Eagles.
Yeah, that
linebacker.
Yeah.
And then in the secondary, they do have that Garrett Williams. Hold on, what's going on here? They have Garrett Williams, Budda Baker, Sean Murphy-Bunting, former Buccaneer.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I don't think the secondary needs his help as bad as the defensive line, especially after you just went through that depth chart. I would definitely take Derek Harmon or Walter Nolan here to go to the Cardinals.
So DL plus 135.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's the move. Offensive line plus 250. I mean, sure.
That's about somebody dropping. Like if Kelvin Banks dropped, they might have to do it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they don't really have many household names. Paris Johnson Jr. On the offensive line, Evan Brown, but Jonah Williams, the right tackle. Okay, let's keep moving. Next up are the Seattle Seahawks. So they're picking 18th, just a few picks down right after the Bengals. This mock has them taking Nick Emmanwari, the safety from South Carolina. We've seen this guy mocked all over the place. The odds board shows the Seattle Seahawks are favored to take an offensive lineman, minus 120. After that, wide receiver plus 400, tight end plus 550, defensive line plus 850, safety 9-1. So if you like the way this mock is showing, you would want to take a stab at that. But offensive line minus 120 sounds like it's probably the way they're going to go. Would you agree?
I think we've seen Nick Emmanwari mocked to every team from pick 12 to 32.
We have.
Yeah. He's not going to the Seattle Seahawks. This is a dumb one. This is, in my opinion, the stupidest pick of this mock draft. That they're not doing that. I've seen the guy Tyler Booker from Alabama. Apparently the Seahawks need a guard more than any team in the first round. He's the guard from Alabama. That's probably why offensive line is minus 120, which makes sense. And then wide receiver. I'm sorry to keep fucking blowing the wide receiver horn, but doesn't this team need a wide receiver? DK Metcalf is gone. Tyler Lockett is ancient. And then there's JSN. Did they sign someone I'm not thinking of? Like this team.
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they did sign Cooper Kupp.
I don't think they have Tyler Lockett anymore. They have Marquise Valdes-Scantling too. So MVS, and they still have JSN.
Yeah, but JSN and Emeka Egbuka could be just filthy. But yeah, Cooper Kupp, I did forget about that. I'll be honest.
I did too.
I do think they'll look at a wide receiver, but I think this one's kind of pretty obvious as well.
Looking at their secondary here. So they have Reek Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, Julian Love. Yeah, they're not drafting another defensive back.
It's a good secondary. I understand they need safeties. That's probably what somebody will listen to is yelling. Like, yes, they do need safeties. I understand, but
right.
I don't know. You got to get some O-line.
They did sign DeMarcus Lawrence from Dallas. They have Byron Murphy, the nose tackle from Texas last year, who's really good. They got Leonard Williams. Yeah, I don't like that. I think it's offensive line. I think this is actually probably one of my favorite bets at pick 18. And honestly, what we've seen is the offensive line draft pool of players isn't incredibly deep to where it's going to stack the top 15 picks because you have so many edge players. You have defensive line and edge players. Yeah, you don't have a ton of QBs, but basically this has Will Johnson, Membu, Kelvin Banks Jr. I'm just going through the top offensive linemen right now. And that's kind of it. Walter Nolan, is that who you mentioned?
That's a D line from Ole Miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was offensive line. Man, I don't really see anybody else. Tyler Booker from Alabama. That's who you said then. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have him going 26.
To who's that?
25. Sorry, 25 to the Texans.
Yeah, that's the other team that would really need to guard. And really
I think the Seahawks need an offensive lineman big time, especially with Sam Darnold in there.
Me too.
They just paid. Okay. Cool. Last team, and then we'll wrap it up. The San Francisco. Oh, no.
LA Rams.
LA Rams, 26. They're picked 26. This mock has them Maxwell Hairston, cornerback from Kentucky. That kind of rings a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles might luck into drafting whom many consider to be the best cornerback in this draft. He's definitely the fastest after running a 4.28 40. Wow. Okay. So let's go to the LA Rams here. The Los Angeles Rams are plus 260 to take a cornerback. Wow, there's no real favorite here.
Is it cornerback safety or just cornerback? What's
cornerback.
Safety?
Safety is far down here, 14-1. Offensive line is next at 3-1. Quarterback is 4-1.
I mean, Stafford's old.
Stafford's old, but is this the draft to get his replacement?
If Sanders is sitting around 26, that just feels like a deep fall for him. Just Shadur Sanders being Matt Stafford's replacement seems hilarious, but Shadur Sanders in LA doesn't sound that crazy to me.
It doesn't sound that crazy to me either. You want to see a fun bet here. Team to draft Shadur Sandler. Oh shit, where'd it go? Hold on, I gotta find this because this will be.
While you look for it, I'll tell you what my thought on the Rams was.
Okay, please do.
So when we started talking about the draft, there was 3 cornerbacks everyone thought really highly of: Jahdae Barron, Will Johnson, and Maxwell Hairston. Maxwell Hairston has sort of fallen a little bit, not a lot, but like those other 2, Barron and Johnson, have separated themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at 26, Maxwell Hairston's a great pick for the Rams. I just don't fully believe with all the teams that need secondary in the NFL right now that he's going to get there. And honestly, it's funny that I'm going to end it with saying this. Before you told me they were 14-1 draft to safety, I thought this could be a team that could draft an Emanwari.
I kind of see it. Let's go to their depth chart. They have Quentin Lake, Cameron Kitchens, Kello Weatherspoon. Yeah, I mean, they had a great defensive line. We know that. They drafted so well with Braden Fiske, sorry, on the defensive line, and Jared Verse. I guess they have him listed here as an outside linebacker. Darius Williams on the interior linebacking core. But yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe some sort of secondary. Safety, I don't know, though. Cam Curl from Washington. That name is not ringing a bell. Cameron Kitchens is ringing a bell.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they signed Devontae Adams. They got Puka Nacua. They got Tutu Atwell. They're fine there. They have Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup and Stetson Bennett. Running back, they're fine there. Yeah, offensive line's not bad. I
don't know what offensive lineman's going to be there at 26. That's the problem.
That's a fucking good point, dude. Yeah, 3-1 right there. Now, cornerback makes a lot of sense, but safety at 14-1 if Emanwari is bouncing.
I'm sprinkling it because I'd be so sad if I didn't sprinkle it and they drafted Emanwari.
All right, safety 14-1. Cool. Okay, let's recap what we like. So the AFC West, chalky with the Raiders most likely. Offensive lineman if G&T does go 5 to the Jags. Chiefs offensive lineman -130. Chargers wide receiver +425. Fun little long shot. Broncos running back -130 or wide receiver 4-1. And then in the NFC West, we don't really know what the Niners are doing. Not worth any sort of play. I love the Seahawks taking offensive lineman -120. The Cardinals defensive lineman +135 makes a lot of sense. And the Rams, they're at the 16th pick. I mean, it's just loaded. That's defensive line / edge. And then the Rams pick number 26, fun sprinkle for a safety at 14-1. All right. Good stuff, Steak. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the draft, and we will check in with you guys later.
See ya.
Peace.